everyone, this is Rowdy's blog Animation Bliss, and welcome to another anime discussion series. So today's anime discussion will be about my thoughts on the first season of Smiling Friends. And before I get into my thoughts about the show, here are a few words from the channel. Alright, Animaniacs, now let's get on the social media train. Want to chat with us in 100 words or less? Then check out our Twitter account. Want to chat with us within a group? Then check out our Facebook account. Want to get the lowdown on everything dealing with animation on this channel? Then check all of the above. And now, we return to our regularly scheduled program. So Smiley Friends is about this company called the Smiley Friends, whose goal is to try to help out people and cheer them up whenever they're feeling depressed or they're feeling unhappy. And the two employees from this company that we focus on the most is Charlie and Pim. And they're usually the ones who go out and try to cheer people up whenever they get some kind of job about whenever a person's feeling depressed or is feeling unhappy. But of course, being that this is a show on Adult Swim, things tend to get crazy real fast. So what are my thoughts about the show so far? I'm really enjoying this show. Like, when I heard that a lot of people were talking about the show and they were like saying how this show is really awesome, I was like, is this show really that good as a lot of people made it out to be? So I decided to watch this show for myself, and lo and behold, this show was actually pretty good. Like, one of the things I really like about the show is that it kind of explains to the audience about even if you want to help out people, sometimes their situations can be a bit too complex even for you to fix. So I like the fact that in this show you have the two characters, Charlie and Pim, who try to go out and make people happy, but of course they find out that the situation is a lot more complicated than they think it is. Like, for example, in the very first episode, you have Charlie and Pim trying to talk a person out of committing suicide, and of course they're having a hard time with trying to convince that person to get out of suicide. And this shows that even if you want to cheer people up or you're trying to make people happy, sometimes their situation is a bit too complicated or is a bit too complex, and you have to like really get to know that person, or you really have to know their situation very well to be able to help them out. And sometimes you might not be that successful in helping out that person. But I do like the fact that Charlie and Pim try to help out people and try to make people happy, even though the situations that the people have are a lot more complicated than they think it is. And then another thing I really liked about the show were Charlie and Pim themselves. So you have Charlie, who's much more cynical, and he tries to be a lot more honest with the clients he helps out. Like, he tries to help out the client the best way he can, but he's also very realistic when the situation calls for it. And I do like that aspect of his character. And then you have Pim, who's his partner, and he's a lot more optimistic about their job, and he tries to make people happy even if the situation is a lot more complex than he think it is. And despite the fact that Charlie is a lot more cynical and Pim is a lot more optimistic, they're still very good friends, and I like their relationship throughout the season, and I like to see more of Charlie and Pim's friendship develop throughout the next season. Like, I think their friendship is very interesting. And then another thing I really liked about the show was the animation style itself. I love the fact that this show incorporates lots of different types of animation. Like, even though the main show is mostly in 2D animation, you do have some CGI animation and some stop motion animation thrown into the series, and it just makes the entire show really creative to look at, because I love looking at all these different animation styles, even though I've always missed traditional animation, and I'm glad that the show uses traditional animation. But I enjoy seeing the other different types of animation, like CGI animation, stop motion animation, being put into the show. Like, this show reminds me a lot of The Amazing World of Gumball, which was another Cartoon Network show that also uses a lot of different types of animation, like stop motion animation and CGI animation and hand drawn animation, and tries to create all these different characters with these different types of animations. And I really enjoyed that. And this show is the exact same way, and it does it in a way that's so creative and fun to watch. Now, if there was an issue that I have with this season, and it's a very minor issue, is that I wish there was a bit more focus on Charlie and Pim's colleagues. Like, there's other characters like Alan and Glep who also work with Charlie and Pim, and of course you got their boss who created the Smiley Friends business, and I would like to know more about those characters and see their backstories, and maybe the second season would be able to explore the backstories of the other characters as well. So here's to hoping that Alan, Glep, and their boss is able to get more character development in the second season, as well as seeing more of their interactions with Charlie and Pim themselves. But overall, I really enjoyed the season of Smiley Friends. I'm so glad that I actually sat down and watched this show, because I was wondering for a long time about why a lot of people seem to like the show, and now I can see why. And I actually found myself laughing a lot at the show, which is really awesome. And I like the fact that the show is very creative with the animation style it uses, and also tackles the themes about how you try to cheer people up, but sometimes the situation can be a bit more complex than you think it is, and you just have to try to understand the situation that the person is in to be able to help them out. But yeah, I definitely recommend you check out Smiley Friends. So that's my thoughts on the first season of Smiley Friends, and tell me in the comments down below. Have you seen Smiley Friends yet? And if you have, did you like the show? Did you hate the show? And are you going to watch the second season of the show? Please let me know in the comments down below. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Rabbit as well, Animation Bliss, and I'll see you guys later.